The last word.
Gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This amendment strikes the NEPA exclusion for small hydroelectric projects. That's the principal point of the bill. As the Subcommittee on Water and Power has repeatedly been told, it is precisely this process that has doubled the cost of small hydro projects, simply making them cost prohibitive. This is akin to having a full environmental review done when you build your home, and then having to do it all over again when you want to install a microwave in your kitchen. You know, one witness testified that installing 15 very small hydropower units on a nearby Bureau of Reclamation canal would cost over $450,000, or $30,000 per unit, for additional NEPA reviews that would ultimately conclude that there's no environmental impact. That means the paperwork costs would be greater than the actual capital cost of the hydropower units. No one in their right mind would invest in a project with this kind of requirement. It simply makes no sense, and that's the primary reason why conduit hydropower development is not happening. It is true the Bureau of Reclamation instituted a new NEPA categorical exclusion for small hydroelectric projects back in September of 2012. But 6 months later, this new policy has resulted in precisely 0 new projects moving forward. And even if projects were moving forward today, this is only an administrative change and could be changed back at any time. In addition, an expert witness who happens to be a litigator testified to our subcommittee that the current administrative process is full of legal holes that could be exploited by those wanting to stop these projects. Investors need certainty, and that requires a statutory and not an administrative fix. I appreciate and support the gentlelady's effort to allow the Bureau to consider units with 15 megawatts, but I would remind her that 0 projects times 15 megawatts still equals 0 electricity. Indeed, there are practically no projects in this range to begin with, which makes the amendment somewhat disingenuous. And even if there were, if the current regulatory scheme isn't allowing 5-megawatt units, it certainly won't allow 15-megawatt units. That's the problem. Mr. Tipton's bill provides an automatic exclusion from this duplicative and destructive NEPA requirement. The gentlelady's amendment takes it back out again. That's not constructive and it's not helpful. To assure us that one supports small hydropower but opposes the automatic exclusion in Mr. Tipton's bill reminds me of Leo Tolstoy's observation when he said, "I sit on a man's back, choking him and making him carry me. And all the while I assure him and anyone who will listen that I'm sympathetic for his plight and I'm willing to do everything I can to help, except by getting off his back." I yield back.